For the third day running, members of the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria Osun State Branch on Wednesday continued their protest at the premises of the State High Court while kicking against Ojo's alleged abuse of office and high-headedness. The protest, which started on Monday, has led to the paralysis of court-related matters in the State High Court. On Wednesday, police operatives fired tear gas to disperse the protesters, and those at the scene ran in different directions. However, the chairman, Osun Johnson Gbenga Eludire, citing the action of the police and the state CJ, ordered all judicial workers in the state to immediately withdraw their services till further notice. The following is the timeline of the events that surrounded the suspension cum removal of Ojo and the appointment of Afolabi, amongst many others. An Ibadan-based lawyer, Yomi Aliyu San, who is a native of Ede, Osun State, raised concerns over alleged plans to force CJ Ojo into retirement. Aliyu alleged that the state governor, Adeleke, had requested the retirement letter of CJ from the state head of service. The senior advocate also narrated how Ojo became aware of her planned retirement after the meeting between the HOS and the Secretary of the State Judicial Service Commission. Aliyu condemned the act while citing a bill signed by President Bola Tinubu which increased the retirement age of the High Court and Supreme Court judges to 70. At the time, Ojo was due for retirement in October 2023, when she will clock 65. In a statement by the governor's spokesperson, Olawale Rasheed, he dismissed Aliyu's allegations, saying members of the public need to be informed that there is no controversy on the processes of disengagement or otherwise, even concerning the old and new law on the retirement age for judges of superior courts. All insinuations in their hatchet job are false and figment of the imagination of the propagandists. Adeleke appointed Justice Olayinka Afolabi as the acting chief judge of the state with immediate effect following the approval of the resolution of the House of Assembly. The governor had approved the resolution of the State House of Assembly that recommended Ojo's suspension. Adeleke thereafter directed his deputy, Kola Adeusi, to perform the swearing-in of Afolabi as the acting CJ on Friday, November 17 at the Executive Lounge, Governor's Office, Osogbo, the state capital. Earlier, Ojo had secured a restraining order from the National Industrial Court of Nigeria sitting in Ibadan, Oyo State, barring Adeleke from removing his QS, the substantial CJ of the state.
Yes, based on the collective struggle of the Nigerian people to have a new country. Right now, Sheung, there's nothing to write home about. Anywhere you turn your eye, you can't find any modicum of readiness on the part of the political class to face the problems confronting the country. Even when the law is very clear, when the constitution is very clear, with profound respect in the case of Osun, the House of Assembly was not well advised. Hence, it has goofed in a very embarrassing manner. The House of Assembly or a House of Assembly lacks the power under the current democratic dispensation to investigate the chief judge, ask her to step aside, direct the governor or the executive to appoint an acting chief judge. Where has the House of Assembly got those powers? And to worsen the case, there was already a case in court And the National Industrial Court has granted an injunction ordering parties to maintain the status quo. So you cannot move to suspend the chief judge. But I have been informed. I have been reliably informed by the Honorable Attorney General of that state, Mr. Bada, Mr. Falana, the governor of the state has sent a letter to the National Judicial Council to complain. And that is what is required by the Constitution. Anybody who does not like the conduct of a judge, anybody who has allegations of misconduct involving a judge or a chief judge, you are required to petition the National Judicial Council. There are a number of cases, particularly the case of Elenu and Attorney General of the Federation, where the Supreme Court took its time to explain that whereas Section 292 empowers the House of Assembly or a governor to deliver a speech in the House of Assembly alleging misconduct on the part of a chief judge, and then the chief judge may be removed. Now, before you can do that, there has to be an investigation conducted by the NJC. It is the report of that investigation that will be sent to the governor, which can now form the basis of the address, to the House of Assembly by the governor. And if the address is supported by 2/3 majority, the chief judge will be sacked. But to set aside the procedure set out by the Constitution, it cannot be done. So the
it just reminds me, Mr. Falana,
suspension cannot stand. Yeah. Cannot stand.
It reminds me of what happened in Ekiti after 16 years of the suspension of Justice Aladejano, and this NJC have now reinstated the CJ after 16 years. I mean, if you are to advise the
not the CJ.
The judge,
and that is why, that is why no judge in your state, no high court in your state will allow himself or herself to be made an acting chief judge without the imprimatur of the National Judicial Council. Any judge that does that stands to be sacked. And that is why no judge has shown up to be sworn in as an acting chief judge on the directive of the House of Assembly, because the House of Assembly lacks the virus, lacks the power to appoint an acting chief judge or to order the governor to appoint an acting chief judge without going through the NJC. So I believe that with the comments from lawyers and other interest groups, I'm sure the House of Assembly and all the principal stakeholders will have gone back to the drawing table by studying the relevant provisions of the Constitution. And as I said, I am now told that the governor has sent a petition to the National Judicial Council on the matter.
The court adjourned the matter until December 12, 2023 for hearing of the pending motion on notice. Meanwhile, a coalition of civil society organizations in Osun State had earlier accused Adeleke of plotting to remove Ojo as the state CJ. Mr. Ayo Ologun, who spoke on behalf of the group, said the governor's move was particularly troubling as it appears to be a reprisal against the chief judge for her principled stand against attempts to manipulate the judiciary in the state. The swearing-in ceremony of Afolabi as the acting CJ failed to hold. Sources close to the government, who preferred to remain anonymous, said Adeleke was in Abuja when announcements that suspended Ojo and appointed Afolabi were made. It was later discovered that Adeleke was in the office before the close of work on Friday, but Afolabi was absent around the executive lounge of the governor's office in Osogbo, the state capital. It was also learned that courts in the state did not sit in the ongoing week, as the judges were said to be outside the state attending a conference, according to the state's Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Kolapo Alimi. The Nigerian Bar Association condemned the actions of Adeleke and the state's lawmakers in defiance of the court order restraining Ojo's removal as the state's chief judge. The NBA's National Publicity Secretary, Akorede Lawal, described the series of events by Adeleke and the lawmakers as unwarranted assault on the judiciary and aimed at intimidation, adding that the action is an abuse of the rule of law and a discretion of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. The Osun State government denied reports that Adeleke had suspended the removal of Ojo as the CJ and the subsequent appointment of Afolabi in acting position. The State Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Kolapo Alimi, said in a statement that Adeleke only forwarded the resolution of the House of Assembly and recommendation for an acting appointment to the Chief Justice of the Federation for decision and action. Alimi described Adeleke as a man of due process and rule of law with a deep level of respect for the bar and the bench, the NJC and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. A member of the National Judicial Council who spoke on condition of anonymity because he was not authorized to speak on the matter, said the state governor and the State House of Assembly lacked the constitutional power to suspend or discipline any judge. He said the NJC was the only body that could investigate and recommend sanctions for judges. In its reaction, the state's chapter of the All Progressive Congress said Adeleke was uninformed about the constitutional provisions on the matter. The Osun APC chairman, Tajuddin Lawal, in a statement, said, "The haphazard handling of the CJ suspension by the Osun State lawmakers further confirms the allegation by the public that nothing beneficial to the citizenry can evolve from the Assembly." Lawal also said the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Wale Egbedun, has an image problem to contend with before the members of the public can take them seriously, that they are not the suckers and lapdogs of Governor Adeleke. In a counter-reaction, the State People's Democratic Party, in a statement by its chairman, Sunday BC, voiced its support for Adeleke, saying, "In the case of issues around the Chief Judge, Governor Adeleke has done the right thing by communicating the development to the National Judicial Council." In a counter-reaction, the State People's Democratic Party, in a statement by its chairman, Sunday BC, voiced its support for Adeleke, saying, "In the case of issues around the Chief Judge, Governor Adeleke has done the right thing by communicating the development to the National Judicial Council for action." The sign of a good leader is the capacity to set records straight in cases of misinformation. This is what Mr. Governor has done. The state PDP reaffirmed its confidence in the leadership style of the state governor and that of the State Assembly, chiding the state APC for lacking a deeper understanding of the dynamics of governance. More so, the governor's spokesman, however, dismissed the claim that the CJ's troubles stemmed from her judgment in the murder case of a master's student of the Obafemi Awolowo University in Ileife, Timothy Adeleke, leading to a death sentence of the owner of Hilton Hotels, Ileife, Ramon Adedoyin.
Ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin ló fi ẹ̀sùn kan adájọ́ àgbà. Àwọn èèyàn àwọn ló kọ lẹ́tà petition sí ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin, àwọn ló fẹ̀sùn kàn wọ́n.
Gómìnà gan ò sí nílé, wọ́n pàṣẹ fún igbákejì wọn lọ́jọ́ ọjọ́ náà lọ́hùn gan wà l'Ábùjá. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ní ẹ kọ̀wé mọ́ àṣẹ tí ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin yẹn pa
nǹkan tó ń fẹ̀ sí ni ó fi hàn pé.
Members of the dissolved Osun State Judicial Service Commission on Tuesday alleged that Adeleke sacked their commission to ease his objective to remove Ojo as the state chief judge. In a statement signed by Mercers Rotimi Makine and Tomi Olagbaju on behalf of the other members of the commission, they described the dissolution before the end of their 5-year tenure as an act of executive recklessness, which should not be enlivened for the sake of common sense, decency, orderliness, and our fleeting democracy, aiding that the move was politically motivated and had a connection with the move to oust Ojo, the Chief Registrar, Osun State High Court, Mr. Ishola Omishade, alongside some magistrates on Tuesday, visited the State House of Assembly Committee on Judiciary probing the allegations against CJ Ojo. About 12 staff members of the High Court working in the affidavit office and salary section were seen at the Assembly. In a statement, the Chief Press Secretary to the Speaker of the Osun Assembly, Tami Olamide, said some people appeared and more will appear, but I don't know their designation and where they are from. The committee is working round the clock to complete the investigation within the period given to them by the House of Assembly. Members of the Osun State chapter of the Judiciary Staff Union have continued to block the entrance to the State High Court in Osogbo, the state capital, a move that has lasted from Monday till Wednesday as of the time of filing this report. The protesters, led by the chairman of the state's Jusun, Benga Elujire, prevented movement into the premises from 7 a.m. The protest was aimed at showing their dissatisfaction with CJ Ojo and the management's handling of judicial affairs in the state. Speaking with journalists, Elujire accused Ojo of suspending workers without following due process, adding that the chief judge had put a stop to statutory training for workers to improve their productivity. Elujire added that some members of the state's union were suspended for more than 3 years, and for some others, about 59 months now. The union leader further ordered all judicial workers in the state to immediately withdraw their services till further notice.